Hey, good morning. Good morning, India. Good morning, good afternoon in England, and good evening in California. And, I'm in a kind of a strange situation, strange place. is I This is I'm in transition, moving around, and this program is all about. There was a guest missing. His name is Steve Chinani. He's Turmeric Innovations. He's supposed to come. I don't know what happened. He got stuck in traffic, or I don't know. Whatever the situation is, he's not here. But he's supposed to talk about turmeric innovations. Um, Turmeric is one of the widely used ingredient in the Indian cooking. It's very connected with the religious functions, also Hindu functions. So either used for decorations, they use for things. For my mother used to do that to face, to put on the face to makeup. It's like almost is a cleanser, a cleaning thing. It is a beautiful, actually. These gives a radiant. Um, so turmeric, there is a lot of good things on turmeric. Everybody talks about it, but curcumin is a compound is in the turmeric. The curcumin, what it does is that it is um, it is anti-inflammatory. It is in the blind clinical trials, in the blind trials, randomized trials. These prove it that keep people who are getting the NSAIDs, and then you forget the turmeric, 1,000 milligrams. They have the same benefits. They don't see any difference. So people, when you have this aspirin and other things that use it, they can they have to use it, bleed. Sometimes people can bleed, and other side effects are there. The kidney, it can be hard on the kidneys. So the natural product would be good if it gives you same benefit which is turmeric can give. In the randomized trials, it is proven in Canada. They did in 20 hospitals. They did it, and it is a very well proven in that area that it was a very. So turmeric innovations.com is a Steve Chinani, is a serial entrepreneur. He's supposed to come. He didn't show up. I hope Steve is from Connecticut. But I'm going to go back on scheduled program. The fractal medicines I'm going to do. I am more and more. I had a Dr. Eben Alexander last week is on my show. He was talking about effects of psilocybin, one dosage, how effective it was. So Dr. Alexander was talking about that appealing to the consciousness is the way placebo effect is one of the remission of cancers. Is a placebo. They have an effect. Uh, so I was talking in the afternoon. A consciousness is something that we don't really know. Is it brain creates? Is an emergent property of the brain or independent property of the brain and the mind are two different distinct properties of the nature, different distinct properties, two separate entities itself. The brain, the mind is not coming out of the brain. uh, are you out of your mind? That's what they say. That's that's two different things, mind and brain, or could be two. And most of the people believe that it's different. In physics, there is a wave function collapse is one of the things attributed to the conscious observer. In neuroscience, the fractals or the conscious creation. So we don't know the thought itself is a fractal or geometrical structure. So we have a lot of things going on in why it is important is appealing to consciousness as a tool. The physicians have to employ it's like a tool, it's a practical tool to understand the conscious observer, conscious patient. Appealing to both mind and brain is appealing to the holistic aspect of the health, because you just keep on giving the medicines in the physical systems always interact with the mental systems, mental health. These are very profound effect on our physical systems. So we need to coordinate both of them together. However, agree or disagree with the existence of consciousness, but it is very compelling reasons that there exist consciousness. It is not. It may be separate from the brain itself. So, so the relationship between the brain and the consciousness is that brain is a radio, consciousness is a music. Brain does not produce the music. The consciousness is the music. It is an instrument to transmit that music. In fact, that's what it is. So it is that the relationship between the brain and the mind. But we're going to talk about that, how the fractals, how the LSD and the psychedelic drugs, how the fractal inventions work together can solve some of these mass mental health problems. We're going to discuss that. Let me show you a video before I go. I'm going to show you a fractal medicine video. There was, that I'm going to bring you the video.
For mental relaxation, early human civilizations in the East practiced Buddha's teachings, while in the West they performed rituals. One place they mastered the consciousness through meditation, and other place they altered consciousness through psychedelics. But there is another alternative technique called consciousness hacking through technological innovation. A mathematical equation through virtual reality can offer and alter and master consciousness at the same time. A genius painter from Japan, a legendary scientist from Princeton University, and an engineer from IBM came from a different walks of life, from different times, made important contributions for consciousness hacking. Benoit Mandelbrot was hired by IBM to solve an aging problem in the early days of telecommunications. The problem is a noise. Noise popping up while sending the data across telephone lines. Noise is an undesirable or unwanted signal that gets randomly added to the actual information carrying signal. Mandelbrot noticed a fixed pattern of noise repeating across the telephone lines, irrespective of the distance the data traveled. Mandelbrot recollected seeing a similar idea before, a picture of a giant wave on a children's spiral notebook. The picture is the original painting from 18th century well-known Japanese artist Katsushika Hokusai. It is called the Great Wave of Kanagawa. Look at any part of the Great Wave, it looks very similar to the whole wave. The whole contains the parts. It looks counterintuitive, but the part also contains the whole. Their artistic expression gave rise to a new concept in mathematics called fractals. Mandelbrot discovered nature's fundamental unit repeated through a geometrical pattern. The same geometrical pattern is present everywhere in the clouds, seashores, trees, and even in the human bodies. The nervous system looks very similar to that of a lightning. The EKG of the heart signal is strikingly similar to that of a noise signal in telephone wires. If you further zoom in into the signal, the strange looking pattern emerges. The pattern is discovered by Mandelbrot, bears his name Mandelbrot set. The nature around you, the snowflakes, trees, mountains are built from these series of Mandelbrot sets. We can also observe Mandelbrot sets at the beginning of life in a woman's womb. The equation that governs the nature is spectacularly simple and displays the nature in exquisite details. Before the public understood the power of the Mandelbrot sets, Hollywood jumped in. The Star Trek movies with the fractals put the movie watchers in a trance. There is a different kind of a trance was described by an American botanist, a former New Age hippie, Terence McKenna. He frequently experimented with a psychedelic brew called ayahuasca. He chronicled his experiences through books and videos. Amazonian Indians consumed this brew on ceremonial occasions. Terence McKenna claims this brew produced visual and auditory hallucinations, while his eyes were closed. He claimed his experiences profoundly changed his outlook on life.
Many of them, and they come pounding toward you, and they will stop in front of you and vibrate, but then they do a very disconcerting thing, which is they jump into your body. They jump into your body, and then they jump back out again. And the whole thing is going on in this very high-speed mode where you're being presented with thousands of details per second, and you can't get a hold on, you say, my God, what's happening?
In recent studies by Johns Hopkins and New York University Langone Special Unit Psychedelic Medicine Center conducted studies with a psychedelic drug psilocybin in a controlled environment. The chemical compound in psilocybin is dimethyltryptamine, in short called a DMT. The studies show a single dose of psilocybin dramatically reduced the depression with the subjects of research. Interestingly, the visual hallucinations the subjects describing look very similar to Mandelbrot fractals. In the years before, Albert Einstein published a theory of general relativity, a profoundly mind-bending way of looking at nature. Mass tells space-time how to curve, and space-time tells mass how to move. Gravity is not a force, it is an illusion created by the bodies moving in space-time curvature. Einstein deployed a very different branch of mathematics called non-Euclidean geometry. We don't experience non-Euclidean geometry in our everyday lives. American Airlines pilot explained this phenomena through a tricky example. The shortest route from Dallas to Hong Kong is first Dallas to Seattle, then Seattle to Alaska, then Alaska to Siberia, then Siberia to Mongolia, then Mongolia to Hong Kong. That is the shortest route. But you see on a flat map, it creates an illusion the Hong Kong is directly right across Dallas. But if you combine Einstein's non-Euclidean geometrical concepts with the Mandelbrot fractals, watching in a virtual reality devices, it is truly a technical wonder. It produces mind-feasting, kaleidoscoping patterns where all your visual channels are fully occupied. It puts you in a trance and gives you same bliss without inducing substances. The fractals are nature's artistic expressions. Now you are in tune with the nature. Welcome to 25 milligram DMT experience without a DMT. Consciousness hacking through technology is a mass mental relaxation technique for modern humans. Thank you for watching.
Hi. So let's see. Watch the fractals video. Yeah, fractals are very embedded in the nature as you've seen it. So I'm going to tell you a quick story about fractals. My buddy, he was struggling with the Steve is struggling with the technology. Doesn't know how to get into, but next time, turmeric. He is a CEO for the turmericinnovations.com. If you're interested in going there, go there. But let me talk about the story about these fractals. There was a story appeared in Medium, that uh, The story appeared on Medium um, just 1 year ago. She was Erin Bushwinger. Her last name is longer than my last name, even longer than is the her doctor's last name. She was in a stage 4 cancer. She was a terminally ill, the stage 4, and is terminal. So she has a small two young kids. She was consumed by thoughts of dying thoughts. Is a big problem, and then she had a doctor. She has a doctor. His name is Dr. Sunil Agarwal, Indian doctor. You want to prescribe, so to escape from these dying thoughts for a, this is a constant dying thoughts. You need some kind of a, you wanted to prescribe psilocybin, LSD mushrooms, that medicine he wants to prescribe. But under the psilocybin is a psychedelic drug. It is a DMT. It's a part of um, um, the drug is actually, as I mentioned in this one, New York Langone, under the very strict closed conditions, closed environments, and controlled environments. They're using this drug, 200 milligrams of psilocybin, under the controlled environment in New York Langone, and then John Hopkins. Both they used it, as I saw in the on video. But there was Trump administration passed a right to try act is called. So you can, even they are not approved, they could use it. These kind of drugs, unapproved drugs, they could use it. But the federal agencies are kind of reluctant, and understandably so, because that it easily can escape from the labs and can go into in can go into the easily can go into the labs and easily can go into the recreational area. That's they were concerned about it, you know. So that was one of the things that they did, and so what they did was, um, but as you know, this is not just for Erin. This is for everyone. This is for the whole. We are going through. I mean, a little bit of tension. We are in a mental health crisis around the world right now. The biggest mental health is the biggest problem right now the world is facing is mental health crisis, not economic crisis, because people are cooped up in the house for 24 hours, and for 2 years they've been a long time. They've been going through this, so it is. Sorry that people are just. So I'm on the transition Airbnb. That's why. Sorry about that. But anyway, um, so the mental health crisis is a catastrophic crisis. If you have a supply chain going off for 2 weeks, and if you have a supply chain cut off for 2 weeks, 2 months, we will be in a serious trouble. So the world is on a lot of crisis right now. Then, if you see that long COVID, one of the things that manifests into the this mental health crisis is racial violence, street violence, domestic violence. All of them are manifestations of the mental health problems. Okay, so worldwide there is a lot of mental health problem in worldwide. 1 billion people live with mental disorders. Every 3 year, 3 million people die due to the substance abuse. It's a serious problem. We need to solve this. What are the solutions you may think of? There are not too many. The governments don't have that many solutions because there is not a. First of all, there's a lot of stigma attached to the mental health. Access is another one because you do not have too many psychiatrists and psychologists and counselors. You need a whole bunch of army of these people, and cost is a prohibitive for a lot of people. So this is a where everybody who's putting it behind in the burner. You see that is manifesting in the violence in America right now. You see kids killing kids. The people are going to the churches and shooting in the malls, all kinds of things. This is a this is a disaster in making. We have to address this mental health crisis and a mass mental health relaxation. We have to find some solutions for this. So the government is may not be the solution. We may have to the entrepreneurs like you and me. We need to come up with some solutions. What are the solutions? One of the solutions is a fractal medicine that I came up with. Came from the idea of all extracting all religions. If you take it, I'm not a religious. I'm not proposing any religions, but if you take symbols, for example, all the symbols are very sacred for all of us. You saw that Buddha was a proponent of these things. So Plato is the one. Fractals is he thought about the whole universe in terms of geometry. He said that Earth is a cube, and the fire is a tetrahedrocycline. That he assigned a different. It may not be order correct for me, but you put the air, all the five elements of the nature. He assigned the symbols, the geometrical symbols to that. Okay, so that's why there's no other shapes that exist on the universe, other than those five protonic solids discovered by Plato. So I wrote a book. Science is not a medicine. Science is a lifestyle. Is a book written by me. It is a it is a it is a it is a essence of all these ideas from mathematics and physics and chemistry and neuroscience I put together, and in a combined it's kind of an innovative tool for physicians. It gives you some ideas how the what the innovations required in this world. That is so um um I so that is a big challenges. Somebody was trying to get inside, but I don't know. I don't see them. But anyway, this is a this is a let me see that if I see that person is there. Okay, but anyway, the so the symbols are sacred for something, but there's a lot of these things are there. So um, yeah, but so why the fractal medicines are such a powerful tool for the mental health? So there is some physics behind it. What is beauty? So, do you know that the definition of beauty in our humans we defined is bilateral symmetry? If you take a face, Marilyn Monroe, Denzel Washington, or you take Aishwarya Roy, Indian Bollywood actress, if you draw a line between the two eyebrows, then the left side looks exactly similar to the right side. It's called bilateral symmetries. More symmetrical they are, left side to the right side, they're more beautiful we consider bilateral symmetries. You see in the butterfly, same thing. The diamonds are the perfect example of the symmetry, you know. So their symmetry is in the best symmetry that it could exist in the diamonds. So symmetry is a very fundamental. It just came out. It's a fundamental aspect of nature. So what if you know some people with the OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder? It is may not be some now new research is showing that it may not be a psychological disorder. It could be evolutionary genetic disorder. The psychological disorder is evolutionary genetic is of extreme need for symmetry, because we are all, as I said, the symmetry was embedded in our organs, in our brain, in our everything is there. So it's there may be the OCD, maybe the obsessive compulsive disorder, maybe the need for perfect symmetry. That's what they want to do. Everything has to be in place. If you go to OCD houses, I know one lady in Philadelphia, She will kill me if I tell her. So, a name. So she is listening probably. So, but anyway, she's the OCD people. If you just replace one of those things to the right hand side, they go nuts. So this may be a genetic disorder. It may not be all these things now considered now until now it is considered to be purely a behavioral problem. It could be genetic disorder. This is could be a extreme need for dimensional order. So symmetry and sex are also connected. They say that women have more orgasms, you know, with the body, with the people with the symmetry in their brain, in their bodies and then face. They have a more. They is a done research done on them. So asymmetric people with the faces left side is different than right side. They tended to show aggression. They tend to show some psychological problems. In fact, it's yes, sadly so, but it is. Even the honeybees prefer beauty, not just honey alone. They prefer beauty because they go for radial symmetry of the flowers. That's a that is a new thing that is going on. So there is a symmetry embedded in our brains, our mind, our our behavior, our physical bodies. So there is a lot more to symmetry than what we know of. So I think it is what is the connection then symmetry, why how we embedded the symmetry in our things, in our behavior, our nature, our bodies, our universe itself. What is that places, what kind of a role the symmetry plays? In fact, the symmetry laws are the more fundamental than the other laws of. Law of conservation of energy, for example, energy is neither created nor destroyed. The first law of conservation, first law of thermodynamics is 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 a law of it's not actually came from, that is a cheat sheet for the physics students. In fact, it is something to do with the symmetry itself. So Emmy and others, she's a mathematician from Germany. So she was a brief time she came to physics side, and she gave this very mind-blowing equations for the symmetry. She says that the laws of physics are embedded in symmetry, not that they're not independent, they're embedded in symmetry. So if you rotational symmetry, for example, if you see a snowflake, you turn around, left side or right side, or turn around, you can't tell the difference. That is the rotational symmetry. The laws are same still. It looks same, laws are same. If you throw a ball into the top, and it will come down either today or tomorrow, that results in the energy conservation. In fact, it is a very strange kind of connection, but I don't want to get into that process right now. But that's a kind of conservation of energy came out of the time symmetry. So angular momentum is another symmetry. These are all the symmetries, rotational symmetries. Then if you see in the mirror, there's a mirror symmetry. They're all symmetries. If the symmetry is violated, that's one of the mysteries of the universe also, where when the universe was born, the mirror, the protons and the antimatter and antimatter were equally created. There must be some symmetry was broken. If they are equally there, where is the antimatter? We don't see that. So maybe we are living in a universe that's only purely matter. The antimatter is missing somewhere. That's the symmetry. Somewhere the symmetry, all the one particle out of billion particles may be asymmetric, and it became our universe. It could be. We don't know yet, but it is still a symmetry laws are much more fundamental than the laws you think of in the conservation laws, or all the other laws that you think of. All the laws of physics are based on the laws of symmetry, in fact. So she came to Philadelphia. That Amy Nather came to Philadelphia. She died. She worked 2 years. After that, she stuck with the cancer and she died. She didn't live that long enough. but one of the brilliant women. She brilliant woman. She was neglected by. She was one time. One of the famous. Her boss is a famous mathematician, David Hilbert. One day he said that she the in world before World War I, they said that if the soldiers come back and learning from a woman, what do you think of that? It is a insult to us. They said that the David Hilbert responded back and said that they're not going to the bathhouse. This is a university learning center. He came back with a fitting answer. So David Hilbert, thanks to him, just yeah. So Amy Nather is one of the genius women of that century. She didn't get enough recognition, in fact. Um, but anyway, the laws of nature, the symmetry is embedded in the nature. As I mentioned, the laws are embedded in the laws are stems out of the symmetry. So the nature itself conserves the symmetry, which is shows up in the beauty of the radial symmetry. All beauties you see are all consistent with the symmetries. So if you see the nature, if you see it on the left hand side, that is a nature. You see mountains and seashores. It looks smooth and curvy and beautiful. But if you go further, zoom into it, that you see a different picture. High definition TV and standard TV, as you all know, you can see much more clear and everything there, right? But what is that further look into it? Star Trek movie took advantage of this mathematics behind this symmetry, mathematics behind this fractal geometry that I mentioned in the video. They so took advantage of it and recreated the actual feeling of the birth of the planet. It's really see that video is an amazing for that times. The graphics are so the only it's possible through mathematics, through a fractal geometries, fractals. It recreated that video on Star Trek. But anyway, so what is a fractals? Fractals are a fundamental geometrical unit. If you go further, look into these atoms and further deep into the seashore, for example, if you deep into any shape, the fractal angle. Fractals, you see the shape, the fractals. That is a fundamental unit of the geometry. So you go inside of it, you see further those things. It's a picture within the picture, picture within the picture. You keep on seeing the same thing. That is a very odd looking shape. You saw that in the birth during the splitting of the our live cells during the birth. You see that how does it look like similar to fractal fractal Mandelbrot set. So Mandelbrot set is that's a fundamental geometrical unit. It's keep on you can stack them up and then you look smoother eventually. But you can keep on looking at it, it further divides into it. Hologram is another example. You can subdivide a hologram into two pieces. It doesn't become two halves. It becomes two smaller halves, two smaller ones. Then you further dividing the hologram into more splits. It becomes much smaller. The whole. It doesn't become half the picture. It does have the full picture. So eventually you keep on cutting into small pieces. You see that whole contains the part. Part can also contain the whole. That is the greatness of this Mandelbrot set. Is a self similarity. Is the is the word they use it. It's a self similarity. Just Monch keeps on adding that up to the process. Now the fractals are fundamental geometrical units. So you can see they are repeated self-similarity, the picture within the picture, picture within the. That's what Japanese Hokusai, giant wave. That's why people loved his art. Jackson Pollock art is more closely connected with the fractals. Uh, M.C. Escher is another artist, as that fractal touch to it. Then fractals in the human body, as you know. So we are in fact we're made up of viruses look fractals. Very strange, you know. So the coronaries, the heart, They look exactly looks like a fractals almost. So they're all built from a fractals, fractal geometries. So we understand what is the advantage of that. We understand the mathematics behind the fractals, so we can really manipulate these things much better and faster and better. Then the so so what I would say the when you combine hyperbolic structures like Einstein's negative hyperbolic structures, which are you don't see them on every day, you don't experience them in regular life. We have it in our back of the neck and everything. You see negative hyperbolic structures, but you see really in a full three-dimensional, multi-dimensional fractals, is you don't find it in negative hyperbolic. If you combine the fractals with the negative hyperbolic structures, you will see something strange. That is that is what the fractals are. You give it creates hallucinations of auditory and visual stimulations. It creates our brain. What it does is occupied all the visual channels are fully occupied as an advantage. So then it's not going to sustain. This is not a natural, what Dr. Alexander says, this is not going to be permanent. You have to be trained. You have to go through the training. So that's what you need. You need to appeal to the ultimate consciousness in your mind. That's what you do. That is what consciousness. In Silicon Valley, they call it consciousness hacking. You know, first time when I said that, what is that consciousness hacking? In Silicon Valley, people using it. Now I understand what they mean by that. So 5 minutes a day, 25 minutes a week. That's one of my colleagues. Jennifer says that 25 DMT without a DMT. But if you do that, I think you can be very relaxing. It can be. It's not a treatment. If you have a mental issue, you have to go and seek the doctor. This is educational purpose only. It is a relaxation technique. Instead of playing games, you do watch this and do the meditation through it. There's another. There was in Atlanta, inspired by me. Her name is Cathedra. She built a neuro cafe, the neurocafe.com. You can go and experience that the process. It is an amazing how fractals, how the auditory visual stimulations can occupy the mind. It is temporary, but it still is a profound effect on our approach to the consciousness of our hacking our brain. Our monkey brain is going all over the place. So with all the things that are going on around the world, with all the stresses we have, we need that kind of a training. We need outside tools. These are the tools helpful. These are not, they're aiding the tools. You need to go through the few training, you need a feedback training or anything training that you need to practice meditation and other things to relax. This is a simple tool. There is something connection between the fractals, the hyperbolic structures of the Albert Einstein, and and uh, and the mental relaxation are somehow connected. It's a very amazing how they connected and work together. And so thank you for watching. This is we have a little bit of troubles people getting in there. I don't know why, but I hope. um, I'm going to play. I'm in a house. Her name is um, Melissa. uh, Melissa, let me give you a name. Forgot last name. Sprouls, I think. Is an Airbnb. If you see this, she learned a. I'm going to play that dance. She was born in Atlanta, and she moved to India for 10 years and learned um, Odissi dancing. Cultural. All those are dancing and then seeing the beautiful colors and everything is a stimulation to mind. These are all they hack the consciousness. We have to appeal to all of our channels, everything available channels. See, this Odissi dances, that music is just profoundly. I watched Odissi means Orissa, the state of Orissa from India. That music is a very ethnic music. Um, it is Palo Altos. They brought in from India all the um, orphans did a Odissi dance. The person I'm staying with, her name is Melissa. She was a Sprouls, I think. She is a Odisha dancer. Can you believe that? I bumped into somebody in Atlanta and somebody in Palo Alto, Odisha dancers. So very strange connection there. Um, she was supposed to get into, and I am. I don't know. She's having a hard time getting in the. She's calling me, but let me see that if she's here. I don't know where it. She. I'm going to send the invitation of guests. She says that I'm going to send her one more time. Maybe she will join in a few minutes. I'll send her on the Facebook Messenger. Let me send her Melissa Spurlock. Sprouls, sorry. Melissa Sprouls Singh, her name. She married an Indian, I think. Right there, I send her. I hope she shows up. But Melissa, I send you, if you're listening and watching it, I send you another link. You can join for a couple of minutes to introduce our audience. But the, the the thing is that the dance is such a profound thing. Um, you have to. I'm going to play a short clip. I watched in the Palo Alto Theater, and I watched in. There was. We went there. Mahesh Pakala Garu. Thank you for taking me there, introducing me that what is a dance. It's a it's an amazing. I fell in love with that song, and then it's really mind stimulating to mind. These are all done by all orphans from India. They brought them, and they learned the dance. I'm going to play a short clip of that. Um, Melissa, I send you another invitation on the Facebook. Try, but I'm going to play that a short clip of that. I hope I find it. I think so that I'm. Let me see. So that is in Palo Alto Theater. It was played in Palo Alto Theater. So I am in the. This is all Ganesh and all those things. Buddha. She's a Odissi dancer. She is a she's a older woman, but she doesn't look old, but she did a great job in uh, she did a she was a fast she spent 10 years in India to learning the what is a dance. Interesting. You meet, you know, one of the things is somebody, one of the friends from Montreal called said that she said that uh, you're a pioneering spirit. I don't know what the pioneering spirit is. English is always second language, right? Well, I looked into dictionary, and what is that pioneering spirit means? Pioneering spirit means people who the go through the for hard times for experiences. They rather go through. They prefer experiences of life than experience of life than than benefits of life. So they're willing to go through some hardships to experience life. Yeah, certainly I define that. Good or bad, I don't know. But it is, I define that, that's life. But it is rich experiences are boundless. I can talk anything. That's a good thing about going to different places, different things, experience different things. There's so much to talk about it. Life is all full of excitement, full of energy, full of new things that we can investigate. The reasons are these are the tools, in fact, for innovations. When you combine the strangest tools, for example, I gave you an example in the afternoon how a quantum, a light behaves, particle and a wave, duality. You cannot you cannot separate them out. Um, the particle and wave duality is a part of the quantum phenomenon. So same thing. A healthcare care must be. It can be continuous and it can be discrete. That's both. You can at the same time. So procedures can be very discreet and very price transparent, and the wave is the per patient looks seamless experience. Thank you all for joining. I really enjoyed it. So I hope we have every day there is a lot of I learn to live with the technical problems, but rather be with you and enjoy and present to all of you guys. Thanks. Good night.